How's it going, guys? Actually, how's it going, guys? CryptoPod here for today. Hopefully, you guys are all having a great weekend. Wow, wow! All I can say is wow. I did not expect this to happen. I can tell you that, but I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty stoked with the performance as we speak right now, today, Saturday. I woke up, I looked at my phone, and I was checking the Twitter accounts, and I saw Litecoin. I mean, I don't know what to say. Um, Here's the thing. I've been posting on Twitter some of the updates, and it looks like the chart analysis that I did 3 days ago on Litecoin is playing out like as if it were, I don't know. I mean, just the way I expected it to do. So here's the thing. I like to do these portfolio updates. It's going to be a little bit about what to do when things like this happen, and the important thing here, guys, is not to get too excited about the price moves. Remember that the Ripple, and I'm gonna go back to my Ripple trade because I was talking about Ripple a couple of weeks ago, and Ripple went up like 40%, and made some money off of that, but then it just came back down. So uh, these type of moves, if it's like another Ripple trade, it's not going to be sustainable. So not to kind of you know close down the party here, but you gotta start taking profits. Okay, so here's what I did is I started accumulating 3 days ago on Litecoin, and so if you guys watched that video, go back and just watch it, just because the analysis that I just did on that one was basically what we're looking at is kind of playing out right now. And so the question you want to think about right now is, am I going to add positions? Am I going to sell? Should I hold? Things like that. So let's do a recap real quick for my follow-up video on Litecoin. Basically, what we're looking for is a USD chart. Last time we are consolidating, and I was talking about that the charts weren't really looking good. This is actually a daily chart on the Bitcoin price, and I like to look at this one because it's a little cleaner. The other chart that I used was, I believe it was a USD chart, and it was on a shorter time scale. It was like a 30-minute time scale. But basically, it's the same idea. We are breaking off of this really tight band that you see right here that started on the 26th of May, and we were basically running nowhere all the way to the pretty much up to today, basically. Now, one thing I want to mention when you're looking at these charts, guys, is you want to look at compression. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about what compression is in a bit. Compression basically means that when you're looking at price, okay, you see all these little small price patterns. That basically means that there is a battle between the bulls and the bears, and the buyers and the sellers, and the price is compressing to such an extent that it's going to break out up or down. Now, obviously, your research and your information needed to confirm whether that move was going to be up or down. Obviously, we got that on the upside, so I'm stoked right now because this is really, really rare for a top five currency to actually do this. It's almost kind of like Bitcoin going up 40%. Anyway, the other thing I want to mention is that the volume is extremely high. So this is also a very nice breakout. If you take a look at the line that was covered right here, we're looking at the 0.1012. We basically blew that out, and that's why we're getting close to that $50 level. Now I'm looking on YouTube, and everybody's talking about Litecoin 100, Litecoin or whatever. Remember that, okay, these type of moves are sustainable in the short term, but in the long term, they're not. And the reason why I say that is because when you get that many buyers coming in, eventually you're going to exhaust all the buyers in a very short period of time. So if you're holding and you purchased Litecoin 3 days ago, like when I was mentioning that in the video, I would highly recommend start taking some money off the table. And then either if you really like Litecoin, just use that money to pile on and get some more. The other thing I want to mention, guys, is that we are actually getting up to this 80 level, the overbought level. So I'm gonna guess, just throwing that number out there, maybe like a day or two before this thing starts consolidating. Consolidating means two things. Number one is that the price is going to flatline. Okay, so we're gonna form some sort of top up here, or two, we're gonna take a nosedive back down to this level right here. Now, ideally, Litecoin keeps on going higher, and we go to 100, and we go to 50, and all that. But again, I mean, I'm not playing here hopes and dreams and hope this thing goes. So I can tell you right now, 40% in a day, 45, 40, whatever it is right now, which is insane. It's actually quite rare. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going to put any price predictions because that's not the goal of this channel. You see the move, okay? Now you got to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to take some money off the table? Do you want to um, let it ride? Do you want to pile in, pile in? That's really up to you and your risk tolerance. Me, I like to look at my probabilities. So for me, I would start scalping a little bit here. Maybe taking some profit, maybe let it run just a little bit more and then see what happens. Now remember that this is nothing new. We've already had this move here back in May. So if you look at May's move, the volume count for May is a little higher than double. So what I usually look for is any sort of past reference to Litecoin's move, and May went all the way up to about here. So we're getting really close to this 0.19 area. Maybe another 15% move on the upside. It's probably doable. I do know we have a ceiling at about 50 bucks. Fundamentally, nothing has really changed with Litecoin. The only news out there is that Charlie Lee left Coinbase, but that's old news. In terms of everything else, it's just at this point, people I think are moving away from Bitcoin into Litecoin. Uh, a lot of the volume is being driven overseas, so that's another reason why I kind of like it. Once the overseas, Asia specifically, starts piling on Litecoin, it creates a ripple effect into the US. So anyway, so if you did bought Litecoin at here, I mean, high five for you guys. You're sitting on some really nice gains. If you didn't and you're still kind of on the fence, you know, it's your call in terms of what it is. Basically, when we do these breakouts like this, and yesterday I posted a tweet on that breakout. When we do this type of breakout here, this thing goes up way high, especially we're on the values. So some people are asking like, how do you know there's a breakout? Um, you know, it's just a gut feeling. There is no systematic trigger that tells you that this is going to go higher. I just looked at the fundamentals. I looked at the analysis. I looked at my conviction, my philosophy of what I thought Litecoin was, what I believe Litecoin is, and right here, guys, at this point, if Litecoin tanks and it goes back here and you lose everything, hey, you know what? I'm gonna keep on buying more because I still believe that Litecoin is still a huge buy. This move here is nothing. I mean, this is nothing. So anyway, with that said, good luck to Charlie because he's going to be off of Coinbase doing full-time development for Litecoin, and I do think that Charlie's expertise and his ability to tap into the Asian markets, it's huge. He was able to get the miners in to do the SegWit and convince them to go into SegWit. So if anything, Charlie's able to, he can control the price. I can tell you that, obviously. What he's going to do is that he's going to convince everybody in China and saying, hey, you know what? You see this Bitcoin problem? Litecoin can solve it. And also the other thing is Litecoin has a lot more potential for these microtransactions. And so until they fix that problem, I think that Litecoin is still going to be a value buy, at least in the short term. Long term wise, Bitcoin is catching up. Eventually, Bitcoin's going to do its thing, and it's going to catch up here. But I like Litecoin a lot. I think it's a long-term hold. 40% a day is outrageously high, probably too much for me to pass up and say let's take some of that out and then let's move it into something else. Okay. All right, guys. Crypto Buddy here. I don't want to keep it short. And stay safe and just think about what you're doing. Okay. Have a good weekend.